The first great concern is the emergence of Boko Haram terrorist enclave, as well as the activities of Ansaru, particularly in Birnin Gwari and Chikun local governments. Amongst those kidnapped from the train, Abuja Kaduna train, was a former roommate and classmate of mine who was released upon payment of a ransom. And throughout the period that he was in captivity, it was very clear that the terrorists were making comments like the forests in Kaduna are even better than Sambisa, so they should all relocate here. I think this is an area we should be very concerned about. And this is why we've been making the point that the problem of insecurity now has moved from the northeast to the northwest. The situation in the northwest is far more serious and could be potentially more dangerous than we've ever had in the northeast. And we would like the military and security agencies to take notice of this before it goes out of control. The second, which is related to the first, is the incidence of use of improvised explosive devices and mines in the state. We've been lucky, and thanks to the police, we have been able to defuse many of the IEDs without major loss of lives. But this is still a major concern because these IEDs are being placed in nightclubs and other public spaces. And it shows very clearly a movement from banditry to terrorism with expertise in making explosive devices. Again, this is because Boko Haram and Ansaru elements have moved into the state. We are also preparing for elections. So we have two problems here. First, politicians sometimes, particularly those that think that they will lose the elections, are likely to use this period to enhance insecurity. Second, if we don't improve the levels of security in some of our local governments, like Birnin Gwari, Chikun, Giwa, and Igabi, it may not even be possible to hold elections in those local governments. And if we cannot have elections in 4 to 6 local governments, I wonder whether it will be possible to have elections at all in Kaduna State. So this is one major area of concern that we should look at. On the one hand, politicians will try to enhance the levels of insecurity for their own purposes. And on the other hand, we must look and ensure that these current levels of insecurity are suppressed so that we can have credible elections in 2023. I also think that at this point, and from what we have seen, that the security agencies are overstretched. We really need to ramp up the recruitment of our vigilant service volunteers. I think the 1,000 that we recruited and trained at the police college had been very useful in assisting the army, the police, and other security agencies. And perhaps this is time for the Commander Vigilance Service to work with our traditional leaders and religious leaders to get another 1,000 and send them to police college for training and then further military training. We've already bought weapons that with the Commissioner of Police that we can deploy to support the security agencies. Because the truth of the matter is our army, our police are overstretched. They need more boots on the ground. They need more men and women to help them. And I think the fastest way to get this, in addition to their own recruitment, is the vigilance service. So I think this is something that I would like us to discuss.
So victims kidnapped in the first quarter of our 2022, we have a total of 1,000 389. 350 males. Sorry, there are 420 females. Then 79 minors, as you can see. Again, Kaduna Central Senatorial District accounts for 1,083. Chukun is leading with 287 because of several kidnappings around the Juji General area up to Gwagwada, as well as Kasarani areas. Igadi 263, we had a lot in Igadi as well, from Jerawa General area up to Sabon Birni General area. Benungwari 169, Giwa 158. Southern Kaduna Senatorial District account for 249. Kachia is leading with 207. Why Kachia is leading is because of the communities of Kaduna Abuja route. Like you know, the Kaduna Abuja route straddles about 3 local government areas. Part of Kagarko is very quiet, but Chukun and Kachia areas are really high because of the road. And in the first quarter, we had a lot of issues in Kateri, Bishini, Regional General area, and again around the Kachia district. They've done quite well within the first quarter, and they are still making progress. So bandits neutralized. On the ground, what we have on the record, 41 bandits were neutralized during engagement with ground forces, military, and police across the states. And more than 60 bandits were neutralized in various airstrikes carried out at identified bandit camps and enclaves across the state. The Kaduna State government, like we have explained, in November 2021 and January 2022, advised the discontinuation of train services arriving at terminals later than 6 p.m. This is one of the advisory that we wrote to Railway on 2nd November 2021. This is a reminder as well, dated 27th of January 2022. Subsequently, the 6 p.m. Kaduna Abuja train AK9 of 28 March 2022 was attacked by terrorists around Audu Jongom area of Chukun local government. The terrorists derailed the train at about 7:45 p.m. by setting off an improvised explosive device, IED, which blew up a section of the track, effectively stopping the train. Section of rail track blown up by IED, as you can see from the images. The mechanical component damaged by the explosion. Mechanical components again. The terrorists then opened fire on the coaches before entering the train to kidnap scores of passengers. Security forces arrived shortly after to secure the train and rescue the remaining passengers. You can see this is the train, the rail, bullet riddle windows. From initial investigations, 9 people were confirmed dead in the track, with over 60 kidnapped and more than 20 are injured. Despite the evolving nature of threats, politicization of security challenges remains common, with ethnic and religious narratives often used to support mischievous agendas. Bandits and terrorists operate based on tip-offs from informants, on potential targets, and on movement of security agencies, with collaborators serving as logistics suppliers, couriers of arms and ammunition, and transporters of rustle animals. Aggrieved groups recruit criminal mercenaries to carry out revenge attacks against those they believe have attacked them. There are also alliances between some communities to execute attacks on others. The effort of Kaduna State government. Government is collaborating with agencies towards specialized counter-terrorism initiatives establishing human intelligence gathering networks in critical areas and emerging areas of interest, release of updates and security advisories to citizens and relevant institutions to guide action in response to credible intelligence, sustaining and provision of material and logistic support to the federal security agencies.